What did Achilles say to Odysseus? The Odyssey explained. Warning: this video contains spoilers for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and Homer's epic poem. If you haven't watched the movie yet and want to avoid spoilers, this is your warning. Now let's explain. Everyone remembers Achilles as the greatest warrior of the Trojan War, the hero who defeated Hector, the nearly unstoppable fighter whose name became legendary across Greece. For centuries, people admired Achilles because he chose eternal glory over a long and peaceful life. But when Odysseus finally meets Achilles again, something unexpected happens. The fearless warrior who once embraced death for everlasting fame says something so heartbreaking that it completely changes how many people understand his story. Instead of celebrating his legendary reputation, Achilles reveals his greatest regret. His words become one of the most emotional moments in all of Greek mythology. So what exactly did Achilles say to Odysseus? Why did his message shock even the clever king of Ithaca? And what lesson was Homer trying to teach through this unforgettable conversation? Let's explain. Odysseus's journey to the Underworld. Before Odysseus could continue his voyage home, the sorceress Circe gave him an impossible mission. She told him he must travel to the land of the dead. There, he needed to seek the prophet Tiresias, the only person capable of revealing how he could finally return to Ithaca. No living hero willingly entered the Underworld. It was a place where the souls of the dead wandered forever, separated from the world they once knew. When Odysseus finally arrived, he performed the sacred ritual exactly as Circe instructed. Un by un, the spirits of famous heroes appeared before him. Among them were Agamemnon, Ajax, and finally, the greatest warrior Greece had ever known, Achilles. Odysseus praises Achilles. When Odysseus saw Achilles, he greeted him with enormous respect. After all, Achilles had achieved everything a Greek warrior dreamed of. He became immortal through his reputation. His victories were remembered across every kingdom. His courage inspired generations. Odysseus believed no man had ever lived a greater life. He even told Achilles that he was honored among both the living and the dead. To Odysseus, Achilles had become exactly what every hero hoped to become, a legend. But Achilles' response completely changed the conversation. Achilles' heartbreaking reply. Instead of celebrating his fame, Achilles answered with words that have echoed for nearly 3,000 years. He told Odysseus that he would rather be alive, working as a poor laborer for another man, than rule over every soul in the underworld. Think about that for a moment. This wasn't an ordinary warrior speaking. This was Achilles, the man who knowingly accepted an early death because he believed everlasting glory was worth the sacrifice. Now, standing among the dead, he admitted something he never understood while he was alive. Life itself was more valuable than fame. No amount of honor, victory, or reputation could replace simply being alive. It was one of the most emotional confessions in all of Greek mythology. Why Achilles regretted his choice. To understand these words, we need to remember the choice Achilles made years earlier. According to prophecy, he had two possible futures. He could return home, live a long and peaceful life, and eventually be forgotten. Or he could fight at Troy, earn eternal fame, but lose his life while still young. Achilles chose glory. He believed being remembered forever was worth any price, and in many ways, he achieved exactly what he wanted. Thousands of years later, people still know his name. But Homer's message is surprisingly powerful. Once Achilles entered the underworld, his fame meant nothing to him. He couldn't enjoy it. He couldn't see it. He couldn't experience the admiration of future generations. All he knew was that his life had ended far too soon. A lesson for Odysseus. Achilles' words weren't only about himself. They also served as a lesson for Odysseus. Throughout his journey, Odysseus constantly faced temptations. Calypso offered him immortality. Circe tempted him with comfort. Powerful kings invited him to stay forever. But unlike Achilles, Odysseus understood what truly mattered. He didn't want endless glory. He didn't want immortality. He wanted to see Penelope again. He wanted to embrace his son, Telemachus. He wanted to walk through his own palace, sit in his own home, and live as an ordinary king. Achilles' confession reinforced everything Odysseus already believed. The greatest victory wasn't becoming famous. It was making it home alive. The difference between Achilles and Odysseus. This conversation highlights one of the biggest differences between the two heroes. Achilles represented the perfect warrior, fearless, powerful, nearly unbeatable in battle. His story is about honor, courage, and sacrifice. Odysseus represents something entirely different. He survives because he adapts. He thinks before acting. He avoids unnecessary battles. And whenever possible, he chooses wisdom over pride. Neither hero is portrayed as completely right or completely wrong. Instead, Homer shows that greatness can take different forms. Achilles became the greatest warrior. Odysseus became the greatest survivor. Why this scene is so important? Many readers consider this conversation the emotional heart of the Odyssey. It reminds us that the Trojan War wasn't simply a story about heroes defeating enemies. Every victory came with enormous personal loss. Entire families disappeared. Great kings never returned home. Powerful warriors died while still young. Even the greatest hero of them all carried regret. Achilles' words transform him from an unstoppable warrior into something much more human. Someone who finally understands the true value of life. Christopher Nolan's interpretation. Although Christopher Nolan's adaptation focuses primarily on Odysseus' journey, this encounter helps explain one of the movie's central ideas. The Odyssey isn't really about defeating monsters. It's about understanding what makes life worth living. Every challenge Odysseus faces, whether it's the Cyclops, the Sirens, Scylla, or Poseidon himself, brings him one step closer to the people waiting for him in Ithaca. Achilles' confession reminds both Odysseus and the audience that no victory is greater than returning home. Why Achilles asks about his son. After revealing his regret, Achilles asks Odysseus something deeply personal. He wants to know about his son, Neoptolemus. Despite everything he accomplished during his own lifetime, his greatest concern is no longer glory. It's his family. Odysseus reassures Achilles that Neoptolemus became a brave warrior, fought alongside the Greeks, and earned great honor after his father's death. For the first time in their conversation, Achilles feels a sense of peace. Even in the Underworld, the success of his son means more to him than his own legendary reputation. This moment shows just how much his priorities have changed. The warrior who once chased everlasting fame now finds comfort in knowing his family carried on his legacy. The hidden meaning behind Homer's message. Many scholars believe Homer included this conversation for a very specific reason. Ancient Greek culture celebrated military glory. Heroes were expected to seek honor on the battlefield. But, through Achilles, Homer quietly questions that belief. Is fame really enough? Is being remembered forever worth sacrificing the chance to grow old, raise a family, and experience life's simple joys? Achilles' answer is clear. No amount of glory can replace life itself. That realization transforms him into one of the most tragic figures in Greek mythology, because he understands the truth only after it's too late. Why this moment still resonates today. Thousands of years have passed since Homer first wrote the Odyssey, yet Achilles' words remain surprisingly relevant. Even today, many people spend their lives chasing success, recognition, wealth, or fame, believing those achievements will bring lasting happiness. Achilles reminds us that accomplishments matter, but they should never come at the cost of the people we love, or the life we're trying to build. That's one reason this brief conversation continues to move readers across generations. It's not simply about mythology, it's about what truly matters in life. So, what did Achilles say to Odysseus? He revealed the one truth no one expected, that even the greatest hero in Greek mythology regretted choosing glory over life. His words changed the meaning of his entire legend, and helped shape Odysseus' journey back to Ithaca. Achilles became immortal through his name. But Odysseus taught us that sometimes, the greatest victory isn't being remembered forever. It's making it home to the people who matter most. What do you think? Did Achilles make the wrong choice? Or was his eternal fame worth the sacrifice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more The Odyssey Explained videos, Greek mythology breakdowns, character explanations, hidden meanings, and movie analysis. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.